Hello, Sagar.
Hello,
It's nice to have
Johannes.
you here in Hamburg, to see you here in Hamburg at the ChessBase office. And I thought we have a little talk about your career, and your chess, and everything else.
Thank you.
And when I looked at your career, you are a man of many talents. Yeah, you're the CEO of ChessBase India. You are a chess coach. You are a chartered accountant. You're an international master, and you have 2 GM norms. But I think you're best known for interviewing hundreds, if not thousands, of chess players, and also, spreading, making chess more popular in India. But what I find striking is that whenever you deal with chess, whenever you talk about chess, I saw you teaching young children, whenever you have anything to do with chess, there seems to be a joyful passion for chess. And I was wondering, where does that come from?
I believe when I was young, maybe the way in which I was taught chess was very interesting. Perhaps my first coach made it seem like something fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
So it always felt like I was going to do something very special rather than something mundane. So that could be one reason. And also chess always expanded the horizons of what was possible for me in my life. Because we lived in Mumbai, and I used to go to school every day and come back, but because of chess I could travel across the country or across the world. I met Amruta, my wife, and I got married through chess. So chess brought unusual benefits to my life which I never really thought were possible. Also starting ChessBase India, and now kind of running a company which I never thought I would do in my life. So perhaps this is what makes me really feel that chess is special, and I want everyone to experience it because I experienced it.
Mm-hmm. But I still find it amazing that this experience lasts. So I remember when I was taught chess, I thought it entirely fascinating, and I played through games and so on. But over the years, this passion vanished somewhat. And this is what I observe in other chess players, but you seem to be a little different, You seem to have a knack of carrying this passion over, and transferring this, and this comes through in your videos. And so I was wondering, even if the chess has done so much for you.
Maybe there are a lot of facets to chess which I have explored, like for example, teaching is one of them, content creation, first, of course, playing myself. And I think all these different things require different skill sets, different ways of looking at chess. So maybe now when I play chess, I don't find it as interesting as it was before, but I love to analyze games that have been played by others. I love to teach. I love to create content. So yeah, I guess there are so many aspects to chess that if you lose interest in one, there are multiple things you can do.
But let's start at the beginning. How did you learn chess, and when did you learn chess, and who taught you?
My dad taught me chess back in 2000, I believe, when I was 10 years old. And we had a chess set at home, and we would play at night many different games like carom or some other board games. And one day he said, why not play chess? And he had got the bug of chess from the Fischer-Spassky match in 1972. He was a little kid back then. So from there, he knew how to play chess, and he's roughly around 1000 ELO strength. So when we started playing and he taught me the rules, he beat me every single time, and I used to cry a lot. And when he would go to the office to work, I would plot my revenge.
Okay.
And I think there were these programs like Chess Master, which I still remember very vividly. I don't know if you have ever seen it, by Josh Waitzkin, and in that he has some tutorials and you can play different levels and all.
No, I can't remember, no.
So somehow I used to train with it, and then when he would come back, I think at some point I got stronger than him. And so my dad was my first opponent who helped me improve, and then I went to a tournament, inter-school tournament in my region, and I figured that there was a chess club. I enrolled in it and then started traveling across the country to play different events, rating events, and so on.
And how was the chess scene in India when you were starting to play?
No, Vishy Anand was had just become the world champion, right, at that point.
Yeah.
In 2000, it was the FIDE title that he had got, and I was not very much concerned about what was going on in the chess world at that point. I was just concerned with me playing chess, going to tournaments. So,
but there were tournaments and chess clubs, and chess was popular, or beginning to get even more popular.
There were not so many chess clubs, but there used to be national tournaments, there used to be rating tournaments. So I think it was good enough that someone could play 1 or 2 events every month. So it was pretty good.
Yeah. And in an interview you said that you learned, or you got better by reading books, mainly by reading books. And
I think there was this part of me, it's very funny, now I don't relate to it anymore, but I used to think that I should do everything on my own. Like someone shouldn't teach, if I learn something from someone, it's not the best. So when I was in school, all the kids used to go for extra classes after school to learn it well. But I used to sort of take pride in the fact that I only used to go to school and learn everything on my own.
And were you a good student in school?
Yeah, very good. So in that sense, I started to take that thing into chess, which I feel was a mistake, because a chess coach can teach you so many things quickly. But the upside to that was that because I wanted to learn so many things, I read so many books, I saw so many video courses. I believe I saw everything that ChessBase had made at that point.
Everything.
Yeah, almost everything. I mean, back in the day, Daniel King, all power play series. There was a website called chesslecture.com where you had these William Pascal and Jesse Cry and all of this. I think Eugene Perelstein. I used to watch all their videos. So at some point, I saw so much of chess literature that while my skill level was perhaps not very high, my knowledge was pretty good. And the way in which these people used to teach, for example, Daniel King made a huge impression on me. And until date, I always say that, the way I commentate or way I speak about chess, I've learned a lot from him.
But how did you get access to these courses and to these books? Because I also remember in one interview you said that back in the time chess books were difficult to get hold of in India.
Yeah, they were very difficult. In fact, there used to be some people who would have some books, like there was this Strand bookstall where my dad would bring some book, and I remember he brought this Mark Doretsky book, and it was I was like just beginning my chess career, and I said, like, what is this book? It was Attack and Defense.
You started with Mark Doretsky.
No, I mean, he brought this book and he was like, look, I brought a chess book, and I opened it and I couldn't understand anything. Like, it was like variations inside variations, and I just kept it, and then at some point it became useful when I got stronger. But I think majorly at tournaments, people would share stuff with each other, and it was a very disorganized thing. It was very difficult to get stuff, so someone would have it, would share it with others, and I used to always hope someone would bring something to an event, and then I could watch it. The only thing was there was so much hunger that the moment someone gave me stuff, I would just go and see it and watch it and try it at the next event. I remember there were things like Foxy openings and stuff like this, and I would see it and go to the next game and try it out. So it was all like, you can learn something and then you can apply it. And this is the beautiful thing about chess, at least chess openings.
Chess openings, with the endings it's more difficult.
Yes, so maybe it was something that I liked doing.
Yeah. And do you have a favorite book?
Yeah, many. In fact, Jeremy Silman is my favorite author.
Reassess Your Chess? Or?
Reassess Your Chess, 3rd edition is what I read first. 4th edition is something that I didn't connect to so much deeply with, because I had read the 3rd edition. There is this book called Amateur's Mind he had written, which is absolutely amazing, because amateurs discuss with each other what they think about a position, and then Silman tries to correct them. So I loved that book. And I read all of Mark Doretsky's books.
As a junior?
Yeah, as a from the age of, let's say, 16, 17, when I was growing up till, let's say, 24, I read everything about Dvoretsky. He had written this School of Future Champions and School of Excellence, Chess Excellence, and all of that. So I had read strategic play, tactical play, everything. And Jacob Agard's books I used for training myself to mainly calculation, positional play, these two books.
And what do you mean reading? You studied the
Yeah,
variations and the lines,
Yeah.
and you played through the games and
Yes.
the analysis,
Yes.
and you did all this?
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, I did it very seriously.
I just read the text, I skip the games.
No, I was very motivated to improve till I think I stopped playing in 2017. So I think I was very ambitious until then. It was not like I just wanted to become a GM. I wanted to become one of the best players in the world. And even though I was much slower than others to improve, I always felt like I could do it.
Yeah.
And So
You set this to yourself as a conscious goal. I want to be one of the best players in the world.
Yes, I mean, it was not like a goal, but it was always like I want to work really hard on chess, and I want to just keep improving. So Amruta, like when we both met, we married like when I was 24, but we met when I was 18. And she also really used to believe in my chess skills. So we practiced a lot together. And she always felt like I had the potential to become a very good player.
She believed in you.
Yeah, a lot. And I think that really inspired me. She used to say, like, if you really work hard, you can become a world champion, which is kind of weird because at the age of 18, I was just 2300. And, but she believed because she could see my work ethic. She was like, you can achieve it. And maybe she didn't realize what it takes to be a world champion, but we were in our own nice world.
And your parents?
They were very, very motivating always. Because my mom doesn't know chess, but she liked the fact that I used to go there and give my full dedication to something. And she was like more of my emotional support. Whenever I didn't do well, I would call her. My dad was like my manager, now I realize. When I see guys like Gukesh or Magnus Carlsen and how their dads ensure everything. My dad used to make sure that he would book my tickets, pay my entry fee, all of that to send me to different events. So it was always a very supportive family that I had.
So they didn't say, well, Sagar, you study chess so much, you should focus on your school or your career?
I used to do that. So, I never really went into chess by giving up my academics, which in a way slowed me down in chess. But when I became a CA, my dad is also a chartered accountant. So when I became a chartered accountant, he was very happy. And I said, like, I would like to play chess now for a couple of years, because I did that at the age of 22. And that's quite a young age to do that. So I said, let me do chess for like a couple of years, and then we'll take a call. Like, if I have progressed enough in chess, I'll do that. Or if I have progressed enough in not progressed enough in chess, then I'll come back and work with you, or we'll build stuff together. And well, in 2 years I got married, and Amruta told me, if you leave chess, I'll leave you. So so that was that. Then there was no question of chess improvement or anything.
Yeah. Okay, coming to the questions of books, I like the way you always put quizzes to people, and I thought I will pay back the compliment.
This is how
and
people feel.
Yeah, and I will show you a position. I will ask you whether you remember it, and I think you should remember it, and who played and what the source of this position is. Can I show this into the camera, or what do I have to do?
We will put this in later.
Okay. Any idea what this could be?
This doesn't look like my game.
No, it's not one of your games.
Yeah.
It's from a book which in one interview you said was one of your favorite books. And you said, well, okay, maybe we cut this out, that you would remember all these positions by heart in the games in this book.
Nice.
And when I read this, I thought, okay.
When was the interview?
I don't know. I think I saw this in one of the first articles you wrote when you talked about Johannes 62 most instructive games.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. It's my favorite book for sure, but I'm surprised that I don't recognize this game because I really loved. Okay, maybe it's Bishop E6, King E6, EF5.
Something along these lines, yeah.
Which game is this?
This is Petrosyan Smyslov, Moscow 1961. And I remember this game quite well because Petrosyan was attacking Smyslov masterfully, just provoking all these weaknesses on E6, F5, G6 and H5. And he played E takes F5 in this position.
Wow.
And then
E takes F5.
Yeah, and then Queen takes C4 and then he attacked on the white squares.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I loved the book a lot. The reason why I loved this book is because the way in which I studied it. It was not because the book was special or something like that. I think majority of the times books become memorable from the way you read them. And I remember I was inside my room. I used to have a small light on and I used to look at it very carefully in that, and I saw through all the 62 games. And there is this one very famous game which is my favorite game from that book. It's Andreasen and Kupferstich.
Kupferstich, yeah.
Yes. And
totally unknown players.
Yes. You can't even find it in database, it seems, this game. It's a brilliant
we
game.
cut that.
But yeah, so this book, yeah, I'm even after you telling me, I don't remember it. So clearly, I have not gone through all of them in great detail. But yeah, it's a beautiful book.
Yeah, and you played through the games on a board, or
Yes.
did you just do it in the mind?
This was my. I used to enjoy whenever I would study something to play it on the board. I felt like I'd learned something. And then once in a train journey, I saw Vidit Gujarati going through books just by reading. And I was like, how is this guy doing this, and does he not need a chessboard? Doesn't he feel? So I started asking him and he was like, it only slows you down, putting up stuff. And I think that's why I feel like you shouldn't make habits become a big part of you. Because once you are habituated to something, it gives you so much pleasure and so much of, you feel like you did something. Like when I would see through a game on a board, I would feel like, okay, I saw a game. But when I would read it, I would feel like, no, I need to see it on the board. But if I had developed the habit of going through the book and through the variations without a board, I might have gotten stronger, I feel.
Yeah. Talking about getting stronger, even though you then had success, can you tell us a bit more about, how you developed, how the training paid off, how you played, how you made your norms, and when you first felt this could be really, this could be really something to pursue?
So, I don't think I kind of measured my success by comparing with other people, because at that point there were these players like similar to my age, perhaps Adiban, Sethuraman, Vidit, Lalit, Babu and all. They were like already grandmasters and very strong players. I used to play alongside them in tournaments. What I was really looking at is how I could become better than what I was every single tournament.
So you focused on the process and not on,
Even if it was results, it was about, if I gained rating, I was happy about it. It was not about winning a tournament. So I had my own sort of way towards improvement, and perhaps I never felt burnt out. That's why, I kept going on and on at my own pace, basically.
And did you have ever any doubts about pursuing a chess career?
Yeah, I mean, in general, I never thought I would be pursuing one, because it was like I was always, academics were going on and chess used to be something that I would do seriously, but never like oh, this is the only thing I will do. So from 2012 to 2014, this, when I was 22 years old to 24, is when I dedicated all my time to chess. And I think that time I really traveled a lot, played chess. From 2010, I started working with a trainer named Joseph Horvath. He is Hungarian. Because I went to Hungary at that point to play in World Junior, no, I played World Juniors in Poland, but I played first Saturday and Kecskemét round robin tournaments. He was the one who worked with me, and I kind of developed a nice bond with him. So he used to train me quite a lot, and I think he was one of my main trainers for a few years, like two or 2.5 years. And all the books that I read and all the tournaments that I played, and a lot of work with Amruta actually. Now that I think about it, we both kind of bonded together because of chess and this journey in the world of chess where we were so keen to improve, both of us actually.
And what role did Anand play, for instance, as a role model, or whether other role models, or what role did Anand play in India at that time for Indian chess players, you know, as someone who demonstrated that it's possible to become the world's best player from India?
Yeah, I think he just opened up horizons to wherever he went. So he had this kind of contract with NIIT, and he would go to different cities and play simuls there. So there used to be an inter-school tournament organized by NIIT, and then the winners would get to play a simul with Vichy. And wherever he came, it used to be a great moment because you could see him in action. He was at the peak of his career between 2000 to 2010, this period when I was growing up. And I got to play him in 2004, I think. And there's a nice picture of me in school uniform with receiving a prize from him. And that was the day when I saw him playing 20 boards, and he was so quick. And all the friends who I used to look up to, like, these are great players, he just demolished everyone. Okay. And I was like, okay, this guy is really good. And at that point, there was not so much of media things. So all my news I used to get from ChessBase actually.
From ChessBase,
yeah. I used to read chessbase.com. And so when you see Anand in person, it's a life-changing experience. I feel nowadays, because of so much of information explosion, let's say Gukesh is the world champion, people get to see him very often on videos, on interviews and so on. So perhaps when you meet him, it's not as life-changing as perhaps what it meant for me to meet Vishy Anand. But maybe it is. I'm just thinking about it because I just had an amazing moment at that point, and I felt that I should improve further.
I can relate to that because I still remember the first time I visited a Grandmaster tournament as a visitor. I think I was 13 or 14 years old, and I saw Karpov in person. I saw Timman in person.
Which event was this?
This was the Bad Lauterbach tournament, 1977.
And this was where?
In Bad Lauterbach. That's a small German village.
I have never heard of it.
And it was just, we didn't have contact to the players. It was just watching them. And watching chess games can be boring, but it was just like, oh, this is Timman, I read his name.
Yeah, and when they get up and they walk, you see everything. It's amazing.
Yeah. And then again, I was not so familiar with the chess scene, and you see the German players, you think, oh my God, this is Hermann sitting there, and this is Wockenfuss. And just because they were playing, they seemed to be just, giants of the game. And later when I learned more about chess, you realize these are just strong German players, but not necessarily world class, And it was just like that at that time, that was the day when Karpov won his game and he won the tournament, and then he signed autographs, and I got an autograph from Karpov, which I later lost, unfortunately. So, well,
you can meet him now in person.
I don't know if I want that anymore, but still, it was just like, seeing these guys in action, and this was just very, very memorable. So let's just have the second position. Maybe you
Yes,
remember that.
this one is Vichy versus Kramnik versus Anand,
Ah,
and very famous game where Kramnik miscalculated
yeah.
with knight d4 here. This game, I just think of it as if I was commentating back then, I would have fallen off my chair at that point.
Really?
This is kind of legendary game, and I'm so sad that I didn't even watch it live back then. I just knew this move from some books, or later I got to know. But like, just imagine, Kramnik is like the best player in the world. Anand comes well prepared. I mean, he was also one of the best at that point. And then plays d4, these Slav openings, and keeps his king in the center and attacks. And there is this final move, knight e3, and then walks off. And Kramnik is sitting there, can't believe he missed this tactic. What a moment that would have been.
Yeah. But you saw this later, you didn't...
I don't know. I think there is some video online on YouTube, and I have seen a bit of it, and Kramnik was like shocked to see this move coming. It's so rare to see such a tactic, right, at World Championship.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, I commentated the couple of World Championships, and I keep waiting for a moment like this. You know, it's not easy to find such a moment. So, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, but now coming back to your own career, you know, how was the feeling when you actually had the first tangible success, like making an IM norm or beating a GM, or, you know, realizing that you actually became stronger? Do you remember this?
I think my win against first GM is very memorable.
This was against Rahman, wasn't it?
Yeah, Ziaur Rahman. Unfortunately, he passed away very recently at a very young age. So I did write that he made a huge impact on me, because I won the game and he was very kind. I was around 2200 rated at that point, and it was in Malaysia. It was my first tournament outside India, and I was feeling homesick and I was not feeling well, but I went to that game and I won, and I felt so good that I ran after I just left the tournament venue, the playing hall, and I ran into the washroom and pumped my fists, and I was like, yes, I did it. And it was such a big thing for me, and I got $100 for it, because any untitled player defeats a titled player or a GM in that event gets $100. So I still have that note at home.
Have
yes,
written.
Okay. The actual note, which I think
the $100 note.
Yes.
Okay.
I think at that point $1 was 50 rupees. Now it's 90 or 85. So yeah,
good investment.
It's a good it's appreciating. Yeah. So
you get richer every day.
So this was, I think, a very big moment for me, and my first IM norm also had similar value for me. It happened in India, in National A tournament, which is supposed to be quite tough, and I had to win like 3 games in a row, and the last game was against a very strong player, Debashish Das, and I played a great game. And when I finished that game and made my norm, it was raining outside, and I walked through the streets with rain coming on me, and I was like, yes, I have done it. And you know, there were these little celebratory moments of achieving something, like going to the washroom and pumping my fists, or walking on the street with rain coming on me, and doing it alone, not with anyone else, that have stuck in my head. And I made my second IM norm in Fujairah tournament, and my third IM norm happened in Spain after marriage. So it was not like everything came together, but I did it between 2012 to 2014.
So 3 years and 3 years, 3 IM norms.
Yeah. 2012 I made 2, and then 2013 was a year where I thought I would do it, because I was so close. I was 2398 or something, and it's very interesting because I almost was winning against Adli Ahmed, who is a grandmaster, and I lost that game. And instead of reaching 2400, from there I went down to 2305, Like I lost 100 ELO points slowly and steadily. And because it was coming close to my marriage date, I decided I would get married to Amruta after becoming an IM. I should be at least an IM to marry. And so I was like, okay, now I'll become an IM and then I'll marry her. So I chose 3 events from 2380 or something, my rating, and I'll get 20 points, make my final IM norm, and I lost 100. Like I was back to 2300. And I was like, okay, there's no title. I don't know what I'm doing as my profession. So when I got married, perhaps I had no real tangible source of income or anything of that sort. I used to teach chess. So yeah, nice of Amruta to also accept me as I am, at that point. Yes.
Well, I was wondering, how did you finance your life as a chess professional?
Yeah, by teaching.
By teaching.
And there was this one grandmaster for whom I used to do some annotations. He had this academy called Remote Chess Academy, Igor Smirnov. And I used to be paid on an hourly basis there. And I used to, I couldn't believe that someone was paying me for my analysis and stuff back then. So that was where some income would come, some from tournament victories, some from teaching others. And I had a sponsor in my dad, who supported until a point. I think after marriage or maybe somewhere in my around a couple of years before marriage, like when I was 22 or so, then I stopped taking money from him. But this, and then ChessBase came into my life in 2014, where I started writing articles and I was paid for it.
And I think the very first article you wrote for ChessBase was about your marriage and why chess plays such a big role in your marriage.
Yes.
Do I remember correctly?
Actually, one of the first.
Oh.
I wrote an article on Shashi Kiran winning National A. This was in 2013 end. But this was very interesting because Vichy versus Magnus match happened in 2013 November. And Frederick visited Chennai. And I went for only one game. That was game number 5. And when the game ended, I went outside and I saw Frederick. And it's such a coincidence because he hadn't come for the first 4 games and he had just arrived at that point. So if I had gone before, I wouldn't have met him. So I asked him, I read ChessBase News. You are Frederick Friedel. I also like to write. How can I send my articles? He said, you should remember Fred Eric at chessbase.com. That's how he told me, So I remembered it. I went back. I sent him mails. And I got never any replies for a few months, and I realized perhaps this is just a dead end. And then when I got married, I said, anyway, let me try again to send this article to the same email ID. And I see in a couple of hours it was published. I guess Frederick likes these articles, where there is not chess analysis, there is more like storytelling and so on. And he found that I was very talented as a writer.
But this article was about your marriage and the relation to chess, or the role chess played in your marriage.
In the marriage, yes.
Yeah, and what was so special about it,
Everything was chess surrounding chess.
I think there was a picture of rings, and Amruta was the queen and you were the king, and you exchanged rings.
Yes, we had a tournament inside marriage. Like imagine, what do you need to do to hold an event, right? You need space, you need table, chairs, you need a chessboard. And we had rented a space to marry.
Yeah.
And you need chess players. And we had invited grandmasters to come.
Your friends.
Yeah, friends. So Vidit was there, Abhijit Kunte was there. So, we made 2 teams.
Did I understand that you turned your marriage into a chess tournament?
Yes. It was like we finished our rituals of marriage.
I will propose that to my girlfriend.
Some people, some chess players who have non-chess girlfriends, and whenever they see us telling this, they say, please stay away from us. We don't want our marriage to be ruined. So, but somehow Amruta and I both were very happy to do this, because chess was our life. Everything about chess. And same with Amruta, she loved chess a lot. So we had on the backdrop, just like how this studio has chess king and queen, we had chess pieces in the backdrop. The guests would come and leave their wishes on a chess board. You take signatures of GMs there, just like that. They gave their wishes. And we had like two teams built up, Team Amruta, Team Sagar. And it was like a match, 5-minute games were held there to see which team would win. And everyone in the marriage gathered around the boards, and it was such a huge hit that everyone forgot that actually there was supposed to be two guys getting tying the knot. It was more like, okay, what is happening here? And I thought it was a lot of fun doing this. And then I wanted to share it. So one of the things which I have always loved doing is sharing it with people, whatever I experience.
Writing or Facebook, Instagram, videos,
Yes. Earlier it was writing, now it's videos. Because I find now videos to be much closer to, it's not my interpretation of things just, it's also you can see it. But writing was a lot about what I experienced and then writing it down on. So that article actually changed many things because that got published on ChessBase, and Frederick said, you can write more, and he started correcting my texts.
So he encouraged you to write for ChessBase.
In fact, I would owe a lot of my improvement in writing to him, because he used to make these 2 columns, and he would write down, he would mark yellow markings on all the grammatical errors that I would make, including commas and punctuation, and he took out a lot of time. And whenever I finished the report, I would send it to him, and he would upload it on chessbase.com. I would write it in Word file, and he did it for a long time. I believe you also helped me with a few articles, but at the start, for a long time, it was Frederick who did it. And he invited me here to ChessBase.
And well, just you didn't see this, you saw this as an encouragement, because I know some people, myself when I was younger included, then you get your writing corrected and this hurts, You try so hard to bring the best you can on paper, and then you get something back and people say they delete it and they say this is not good and this doesn't sound right and you can do better and leave this word out and the whole article should be restructured and so on and so on.
I think Frederick had this unique ability to correct me, but at the same time praise me for what I was doing right. So there was always a balance in his feedback. He would say, this is an incredible article, you've written it so well, but here are the corrections. So I would be like, okay, that's good. Like, this is accepted, the storyline. And I think my strength lay in kind of drafting stuff, imagination, trying to weave 2 things together. Like, I think one of the nicest articles I wrote was on Vidit winning the Lake Sevan tournament in 2014. Where I compared it to Anand winning in Reggio Emilia, because he was the only non-Soviet player there, and Vidit was, I think, the only non-European in that Lake Sevan event. So somehow this ability to mix these things I read in chess books with the chess analysis, then interviewing the players because they were my friends. So it was like an article was filled with many things that I knew.
And reading your articles, I think your passion and your love for chess always comes through, no matter what you write about chess. It's amazing, it's amazing. It's not, well, personally, I tend to be more factual, and I think, how does he get this this passion across?
It's also very kind of you to you have a different style of writing, but you like what I'm doing. Like, generally people just like their style, so... Yeah. It's amazing.
No, it's amazing because this passion comes across in your writing. It comes in your videos. It comes across, and it also comes across in your writing, which I find amazing. But coming back, so you met Frederick in person first at the 2013.
He wouldn't remember this. It was kind of, for him, it was like hundreds of people around him, and everyone wanting to meet. But I met him first there.
And then you had the contact, and then you went to visit ChessBase here in Hamburg?
So I got married in Feb 2014, and Amruta and I, main intention of marrying was we can now travel together. Because in India there is this concept where, until you are not married, you shouldn't be living together and stuff. I mean, now it's evolving, but at that point it wasn't.
And you stick to that?
At that point we thought, like, let's not sort of go into this live-in kind of setup. Let's get married, why does it matter? We both love each other, and we want to travel the world together. How does it matter if we do, why should we wait? And I was young, actually. I was 24. Amruta is elder to me. She's 27. Oh. She was 27 back then. But we decided to get married, and the moment we got married, we started planning our first trip to Europe, and we would apply for our visa, and if we got, let's say, 60 days, we would plan a trip for 59 days. If we got 90 days, we would plan for 89 days. And she would like plan it so well. So our first trip was Spain, the Spanish circuit with Moncada, Barbera, Sitges, and we played like 4 events, and I made my IM title there.
You planned your travel around chess?
Yeah, just chess. There was nothing else. It was like just chess. There was no sightseeing. It was like we were on a budget because we didn't have money. So I remember in Spain, it was like 5 euros a day is our budget. So we both had to eat our food. We both had to travel.
5 euros for each, or 5
No,
euros?
5 euros totally.
For both of you?
Yes, we would go to a supermarket, buy the vegetables, come back, cook, make that. Also train. We were like trying to find the cheapest way to reach the tournament venue, and because we couldn't spend, like, whatever we would earn, we would put it in. And I think chess taught this entrepreneurial skills to us, because we hardly had money, yet we were investing into our chess career without any return. Like, what was the return? Like, you would go to a tournament, there was no chance that you would win the first place. You are 2300, there are 20 GMs playing there.
But I mean, just when you describe it, this seems to be so stressful. No money. You play these exhausting chess tournaments. You think, oh my God, if I lose, say you have a prize just for, just close to you. You just need a draw, or you need a win, and then you lose the game, and then whatever, 1,000 euros are gone, or 500 euros are gone, and also you're all the time together with your wife. And I think this is just, you have outside pressure, you have like no money.
Being with my wife was stressful, or doing all of this?
All of this together. I mean, even the most loving couples sometimes think, well, I need a little distance, and it's good to be, just doing everything together. I mean, it's just like...
We did 7 years of, like, after marriage together without spending, I think, a single day away from each other. Almost 7. Yeah, I think there were 10 days in between where we were away from, because I went to an event with visually impaired players. Mm-hmm. But apart from that, we were always together. We did everything. So I think with Amruta, I enjoyed a lot, because we were doing many different things, And
7 years without a day.
Yeah.
No money, but love.
The thing is, money did not feature very prominently in both our lives. So, like, we respected it. Amruta came from a very humble background, but we always looked at money as a means to gain experience. So, like, if we could spend something and gain something new, we would do it. Mm-hmm. We were very, very keen on that. So, it was never like, let's build a bank balance, let's have this much savings. It was always like, oh, we got this money, can I now go and buy a book which I can read and then learn more?
So you were generous even though you didn't have money, generous towards yourself.
I think it was entrepreneurial, yeah. Okay. Now that I think about it, it was not like, I think chess taught this, because for years you go to chess events, you pay the entry fee, you stay, you travel, you spend all this money. At the end of the day, you don't win a prize, you come back. Why did you spend so much? Like, think about, it's very normal for chess players, but it's not very normal for a normal person. Like he would say, like, I would only spend if I'm about to gain something, or I
Yeah.
would spend for recreation, like vacations or something like that. But for chess, for me, it was very natural to do this even till date. I think so. Chess inculcated the entrepreneurial spirit in us.
And do you have any very special moment that you remember from these years, from traveling through
Yeah, huge.
Spain and Europe?
I think the best one was 2014 when I became an IM, and there are a couple of one. One is like when I was 2398 or something again, and
Close.
very close.
2 points missing.
Very close, and I had to make my final IM norm, and I lost the penultimate round, and then I was paired against someone, and I was not making the norm in spite of winning that game, something like this. And then we went to sleep and woke up next day, and the pairing had changed because they had put wrong score of someone, and now I got a opponent who actually, if I beat, I would make the IM norm, and I went and I beat him and made my third IM norm. So this was very special. And then the tournament in Dresden, which is I think my favorite event, because I was an IM, I had no pressure because the trip had already been successful. I came to Spain with my wife, and I wanted to play tournaments. Now I achieved my IM title. Here is a final event, which is an additional one. And so I went there and I played like with all my heart, enjoyed it without any pressure, and it was the best event. I made a GM norm.
And you won.
I finished first ahead of maybe 10 grandmasters. There was a strong Hungarian.
And you were still untitled at that time.
Yes,
if
I was untitled.
Understand correctly.
Burkesh was playing there, and every single day Amruta and I would finish the game and see the city of Dresden. We would go out and we would roam, and we would never do that in Spain. Here it was different because now there was no pressure, and Amruta was also very happy because I had become an IM. So there, I think that was the peak of happiness, because we got this thing, and then we were invited to the ChessBase office here by Frederick. So the moment it ended, the closing ceremony was done. I had a flag around me, which is very special, and then we went to the train station because the train was about to come to take us from Dresden to Hamburg. And we got a very nice compartment where me and Amruta sat. We had a trophy. We had 2,000 euros. This was the first prize. And we like spread out this. We have a picture, I think, of that. And we were like, can't believe what has just happened. Yeah, we are rich now. You know, we have 2,000 euros. And we came to the Hamburg station. Frederick came to pick me and her up, just like today. He came to pick us up. And I think that was the dream few days of my life. I came here, I saw the ChessBase office, and I said to myself, how can someone build a company around chess? How are people here actually working for chess? I mean, just these rooms, everyone was sitting behind a computer and doing something. Someone was looking at a video course or a Fritz trainer. Someone was doing support. Someone was shipping things. And at that point, I was told by Rainer that now you will be paid for your articles. Please do more. And I was like, okay, chess is going well. This is nice. It was a sort of turning point in my life.
And from this perception, you decided sooner or later to run your own, to found and to run your own company.
It all started with like a thought that maybe we could do something like this in India. When we saw all of this, and we thought maybe in India did not have good coverage of events and so on. But the thought was always like, let's get our GM title. Like Amruta had to become a WIM or a WGM. I had to become a GM. So at some point, it so started happening. I enjoyed writing so much that it started creating this these issues of, you know, I used to write for hours, and chess, I would sometimes even neglect my practice.
So you didn't train, you write.
Yeah, I would start to go to tournaments and play a game, and then suddenly I would want to write something. I want to write a report. And I think, everything that looks really good has some seeds of not so good. Everything that is bad has some seeds of good. And that's the thing that happened with this thing, where I got the opportunity for doing something very special for the chess world by writing, and people started enjoying my articles, but it also took me away from my focus on chess.
On playing chess?
Yeah, on playing, and like where I could completely dedicate myself to achieving my goals of playing, which was actually a period of bit of stress for Amruta and me both, because we came together with this really strong intention of becoming better players every single day from the last many years that we were together. And now suddenly here's something totally different that's happening, and it took time for us to adjust to it.
And what about your goal, which you stated before, that you wanted to become one of the world's best chess players? Were you still dreaming about this, or after meeting all the other strong players, did you think maybe this is too ambitious? Maybe I can't make it?
Yeah, maybe it was already deep within. I knew that I couldn't become a world champion or maybe 2700 as well. But I definitely thought I could become a strong grandmaster. That I believed. So I don't know what threshold, what was my limit till which I could improve. Maybe it was 2600, maybe it was 2650. Could go to 2700, but yeah, I kind of sort of started giving up on that when naturally every single time you put a chessboard or writing an article, I would choose writing an article. Like
so you felt drawn to writing?
Yeah, I just enjoyed so much. I wanted to share positions. I wanted to, if there's a new feature in ChessBase, for example, like similar endgames, I would think about the best positions I have seen of two endgames, how can you search it and then weave it into an article. So I just enjoyed this entire process of using my knowledges of different domains and bringing it all together, which is what article writing could give me.
Yeah.
And chess started becoming a little less interesting from that perspective, because then I would spend so much energy here, and on the board I would feel a little bit lack of energy sometimes. I think there was this tournament, Qatar Masters, where I played almost all grandmasters, IMs and GMs, and I would finish the round, come back and write an article for 6 hours.
Oh.
And then I would sleep at 3 a.m., go next day and play again. And this showed me that I cannot do both.
Oh.
Yeah, it was too much.
Yeah. Okay, before we continue, let me present you with another position. Maybe I think we skipped that part already, but maybe you can.
Yes, this is against Alexander Beleski, right?
Yes.
And I think one of my nice games here, because I gave up my queen for 2 rooks, and it was, I think, no mistakes here. And I couldn't believe, like, this was the 4th round, in that I was 4 out of 4. Then in 5th round I beat a GM again. No, this was the 5th, I think.
I think this was the 5th round.
This was the 5th.
And you bet.
Yeah, so I beat...
And I think this was, and then the end of the tournament, the last 4 games you drew and
they were all fighting draws, last 4. I think apart from the last round, I had 3 very fighting draws. But I beat round 3 and 4 grandmasters, and then this. So to be on 5 out of 5 was very special.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, but coming back to your writing career, and from your writing and from the idea to found a company for yourself, similar to ChessBase in Germany, you decided to establish or to found ChessBase India.
Yeah, I think initially I felt like I should build something similar there, but I realized, like, one of the nice things that happened was ChessBase was very supportive of the idea, saying like, you can start ChessBase India, we'll give you differential pricing, that if ChessBase software is sold for 100 euros here, you can sell it for 30 euros or for 35 euros. So they showed great trust on us that we would not break the market, because India cannot spend so much, Indian people. So yes, this is a price for them, but this shouldn't be sold to someone in Europe or US. So they showed this great trust on us, which helped us to set up something on our own without having to find any investors. Because from day one when we started this, there were some grandmasters or some players in the country and they were like, wow, ChessBase, we can now buy for this price. How did this happen? So we had some sales, so that's how we got our first employee who started working for ChessBase India. And this entrepreneurial thing was something that we didn't plan at all. We didn't want to run a company. We just wanted to...
Just by accident you founded one.
Yeah, we just wanted to promote chess. We just wanted to write about chess. We wanted to make sure every player who goes to a tournament has a picture. Every good game should be covered. Something like that. It was not like... But here is where when someone buys a software, they need to pay. And I was like, oh, I will take the money in my account. Then someone told me, you can't do that, this will be all income of yours. Then you have to pay income tax. And so makes sense, form something, And at that point, we thought, let's build a company in India. And right from scratch, I had no clue what it means, what I mean, I was a chess player. I played chess all my life.
But you are also a chartered accountant.
Yes,
so
but that I read in the books and I gave exams and I cleared it because I was good at understanding these concepts. I hardly worked in the real world doing all of these things. So, yeah.
And were you ever nervous or thought, oh, this might fail, this might be a big mistake and this will go nowhere?
But it was never started to succeed.
Okay.
It was just started to do something, and so we never thought it would become what it has become. Even now, and even now we never really think that, oh, this has become big or something. It's always like, are we doing the right thing? Are the right events being covered? Are the people who are doing well getting their due recognition? And that thing has always remained with us.
But if you think, if I think about in the 10 years after you founded this, ChessBase India grew enormously, and ChessBase India nowadays, it went parallel to the success of Indian chess players, and I think it influenced chess very much in India, as a kind of, people as a kind of focus point for Indian chess. And did you ever think of, expanding this, or how did ChessBase India grew so quickly in such a short time?
Yeah, I think a lot of factors came together, mainly because players started doing very well. So
Indian players.
Yeah, Indian players started doing very well, and I think till a point I remember, anything I wrote about Vishy Anand would draw a lot of eyeballs. Like he was playing somewhere, maybe he was playing in Zurich, and I would write about it. Many people would read it. And nothing else would be as exciting for people, but we did it because for us it was exciting. For us, Sethuraman reaching the third round of the World Cup and playing against Mamediaro was very exciting in 2015. So I wrote about it, and there was a nice sort of passionate tone to it always, because I really thought, wow, this is amazing. So people connected with it. But I think the real shift happened when Prag entered the scene. When he started fighting for the youngest GM title. He became an IM at 10 years, 10 months, and suddenly we were like, what? Who is this kid? And I mean, we did cover him before a bit, but then he was then trying to become the youngest GM in the world. So everything around him started getting exciting, and then Nihal Sarin came up, and then everyone was like, who is this kid who is really cool? And so I think these youngsters really gave us a lot of nice time covering them, because they were very cute. They hardly spoke anything. but they were crushing
They were
everyone.
young.
They were like you interview a 10-year or a 11-year-old kid now, they speak a lot more these days. But Prag's first interview was like he was shy, he didn't know English so well. Nihal was also very shy, and I think we just enjoyed the fact that here is someone who's similar level to me. Like I was 2400, yeah, 2450, and this kid is like half my age, and he is crushing everyone. He's playing as good as me, maybe. And so that was very fascinating for me. I was following it from their games, the moves they were making, and so on, and I found it incredible.
And were you never envious, say, oh,
No.
these young people, they will become a GM and maybe I won't become a GM?
I just loved following them. They just were completely at a different thing. Like I could be envious of someone my age, perhaps, but these kids were like, they just were unstoppable. Like you can go and see any tournament, and they played fearlessly. There was this one game where Prague beats this Axel Bachmann in the last round of Isle of Man. And I was like, he's 2400 and this guy is 2600. I could never dream of attacking this way. How is he doing it? So all this incredible stuff I could learn from them. And so these kids became like our real passion to follow them. We found great joy in doing this. And then Prag and Nihal were, I think, the front runners of that generation. And at some point, Arjun Erigaisi joined in, and then Gukesh was a little younger to them. He joined in, and I think there was this one point where we had a camp of all of these kids with Kramnik in Switzerland near France, and that was amazing as well. Yeah, like just.
And when did you and how did you discover video? I mean, when did you have the idea to interview people and to film that, you know? And well, nowadays ChessBase India is a huge YouTube channel, but how did that start?
I think
the transfer from writing to filming, so to speak.
I think earlier videos were just to complement my writing. So I used to shoot a video. Let's say candidates, I went in 2016 in Moscow. I would go and shoot a video of the player, and I would embed it as a video inside my article. So it's still like article first, but here are a few videos. And this continued from 2016 full year, 2017 a bit. And then came this year where we went to World Cup in Tbilisi.
Yeah.
And I went from here, from ChessBase. And if I'm not mistaken, it was Pascal who gave us the camera or gave us the microphone here, and he was like, you can do stuff with it. And so we had this one microphone, and we would put it on a player and interview, still thinking about the articles. But then somehow there was this one video where Magnus was losing to Bu Xiangzi, and we recorded it. I don't know why, we would never record games, and we published it, and it got like huge views, and we were like, wow, this is like an entire world of its own. So this World Cup in Tbilisi became a very interesting place where we started doing interviews. So like whenever we would interview someone, like Magnus agreed to an interview there. The organizer said, can we embed your YouTube interview in our website of World Cup? And I said, okay. So now it's like standalone videos there. On Reddit, people started saying, if you want to follow the coverage of players, then ChessBase India has some nice interviews. And in the same media room where I was sitting, there was Peter Doggers, who was working for chess.com along with Maria Emelianova. And he used to put in the chessboard inside the videos, like, you know, the analysis, and he would put in like meticulously.
So you could follow the game.
Yes. Well, if player said d4, then there is a move. It's not like a blank something. And I was thinking about it that I would also like to do it, and maybe I was doing it before, but here I started doing like 8 videos in a day, and each one had a chessboard inside it. So like that would take like 7-8 hours of my time to do it. So after the rounds we would be awake the entire night almost, doing this, and that led us from 800 subscribers to 5,000 subscribers. That one event.
One event.
One event was, and because it's a 30-day event, World Cup.
Okay, yeah, sure,
So,
but still, it's quite amazing.
Yeah.
800, 5,000, yeah.
Yeah, and that made us realize that YouTube is interesting. And that year end, we went to Tata Steel Chess India, I think, or maybe it was not the year end, it was next year. And then these videos went viral of Prag playing against Vishy Anand, and okay, then our YouTube channel exploded.
Yeah, that's what I find amazing, that just, you film two players playing a game, blitz game, and I remember when I was always upset because even though it seems to be simple, it's not so simple, and you have to, to be ideal, it has to be like watching the game live, so you see the clock, you see the moves, and you see the players. But then I thought, this is amazing, and I was always dreaming of it. I wish I could have, could have watched Fischer or Tal playing blitz like this. And then you see Carlsen and Nakamura playing blitz live, and I thought, I think this is just amazing.
Yeah, I think at that point,
Totally.
no one realized that this was, like, people were doing it, but no one thought that this should be done regularly at events. So, I don't know, we just went and we were doing it. It was not like, oh, this is the plan. We just did it and people used to enjoy it. And at first, we used to just do like the game. And then someone would say, but we can't understand the moves. Where is the 2D board? We were like,
Yeah.
2D board? You want like me to sync every single move of the game? Like, are you crazy? Like, me and Amruta would often say, like, how demanding can the subscribers be? And today, like, when we publish a game without a chessboard, it's unthinkable. Like, we would never do it. So our approach to our viewers also evolved over the years. Our approach to content evolved. And it's been like something where you take feedback from the viewers and you implement it, and you keep doing that over and over and we were quite receptive in that sense. So.
But I also find that you have a knack of approaching chess players and you find a way of talking to them. For instance,
it's just curiosity. I think it's just very similar to what you are doing right now. I guess curiosity is the best way to do interviews. And it was always genuine curiosity. It was never like, I want to extract this from the person. First it was chess, because I was very, very active player. I always found incredible how players like Aronian, Anand or someone made certain decisions. So I would ask those questions. But soon it became more about their life, about as I started, say, doing certain things, taking risks in my life and stuff, I would ask those questions to the players. So it was like my interviews kind of mirrored the part of where I am in my life. And now it's still the curiosity remains for everyone. Like yesterday when I was coming here, I interviewed Faustino Oro, and he's 11-year-old talent from Argentina. And I'm very curious, like, how is this boy so good? What does he do? And stuff like that.
And so this is again your passion that fuels these interviews. But is there ever any, you have a tremendous workload, you travel all over the world still, and do you ever think, oh my God, chess, it's always the same. I've seen this, this combination, I've seen that again, and this kind of chess fatigue, which some strong players complain about.
Yeah, I don't get it actually. I feel quite inspired, and I think a little bit has to do with perhaps a little spiritual approach to life, which is I truly believe in how I do things to be more important than what and why I am doing things.
How you do things is more important than what and why.
I have read books where people say why is more important than everything else. Find the why. But I have found why in my life. Chess is really something that deeply resonates with me. I love covering it. I think a more evolved state is how you are doing things. And I really started to get close to this when anything and everything I do, I want to do it in a good way. That I enjoy doing it. So be it commentary, video editing, interviews, whatever it be, the how started becoming more important.
So
for
this
me.
is a conscious spiritual choice.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And I remember, if I may tell an anecdote, I think this was a couple of months ago, and I was watching Vidit and you were annotating, you were commentating live a tournament, I forgot which one it was, and you were analyzing the games, and you were talking about spirituality and about meditation, because a number of the Indian young players, I mean, Gukesh regularly meditates, Vidit meditates, and he's known to have a guru. And you were talking about it, and you were talking about spiritual books, and you were so bold to say, well, I read a couple of these books, and but they all boil down to the same thing. And then someone played an interesting move, and you and Vidit got sidetracked. And I thought, oh, Sagar, this is quite a bold statement, and I wonder whether he is bold enough to come up with an answer, what answer this will be. And then, Vidit and you finished analyzing, and I thought, now let's see. And then Vidit picked up the set, I think, and you said, I thought, now you have to deliver. And you said, all these books come down to be present in the moment. And I was so surprised, because I thought it was just a very good answer. And I thought, this is just what a lot of spiritual books boil down to. And then I thought, my God, what is this now? I'm getting spiritual lessons from watching chess transmissions. Why not do some meditation or do a yoga class? It's just like, you watch chess, chess tournaments, and then you get spiritual lessons.
Yeah, I find spirituality to be the process of understanding oneself better. So I don't consider meditation as spiritual. I think if you can meditate and get to know yourself better, then perhaps meditation is a part of spirituality. But I feel most of these players meditate to become better chess players, to calm their mind down and so on. So perhaps that they look at it in a slightly different way. It's to become a better sort of sports player and so on. Of course, it helps them in other parts of their life as well. But for me, it's more like trying to understand myself better. So all these recent trips that I make to events and so on, and I work and I'm doing it, I try to be aware of what is happening within me.
So meditation and action, if one wants to keep the meditation in place, yeah.
Yeah, like I have never felt bored recently.
Okay.
There's never a place where I've felt bored, because just I can observe myself, like what is going on, and it's a lot of interest to me that why is boredom creeping in, or for example, when I get stressed, to see what is the reason for stress happening. And then to kind of link it to my belief system inside me and to evolve and so on. So this is interesting for me, and so it's part of my how I want to improve as a person. And chess, there's another world of, like, the world of chess exists for me to keep on experimenting myself there. So it's nice for me to do that.
Okay, very interesting. Well, to conclude, in this copy of the New in Chess magazine, the last page of the magazine is always just checking, and they checked with you. And one of your questions, you were asked what you would be if you were not a chess player, and you said you would have been, or you would have liked to be, a mountain climber. Can you elaborate on that a bit?
I just enjoy the thrill of maybe hiking and climbing mountains, perhaps, although I haven't done much, but whenever I did it, I found it amazing to do it, to just start from the bottom, go to the top, have all these difficulties in between, just the entire process of doing it was great fun. So it's more like many of the life lessons you can get in real life when you are climbing a mountain. So it's maybe not a profession, maybe I could not make a living out of it, but it's a fun thing to do.
Okay, I think that's a good fine word to conclude, a good word to conclude. Thank you very much for your time and your openness.
Johannes,
Thank you.
For doing this and being interested in my life
Very
story in
much.
a way that I tried to open up myself.
It's a
so
fascinating
thank you.
life story, and I think it's just like that. Something when passion, this is the old cliche: follow your passion, follow your instincts, and some people do, and it doesn't work out. But in your case, everything seemed to be, working out fine. You follow your passion, and you seem to be happy, and. And what I find most amazing is that it's chess, because I've seen a lot of chess players and a lot of them do not seem to be happy and do not seem to enjoy the game. So
I don't know. Can I end with one of my favorite stories?
Sure, of course.
Yeah. So there is a story, and this is well known, but I will say it maybe if people haven't heard. There was a wise old man, and he lived in a kingdom, and he was not very well to do and had a white horse which was very beautiful. And everyone thought that this horse is just incredible and was ready to pay him any price to get it from him. But the old man said, no, I wouldn't part with it. And everyone would sort of be surprised why he was doing it. And one fine day, the horse runs away, and everyone comes to the old man and says, such a bad thing happened with you, it's terrible. And he says, well, the horse ran away. I don't know if it is good or bad. Next day, the horse comes back with another horse, from the woods, and he has now 2 horses instead of 1. And everyone comes to him and says, this is incredible, what has happened, you are so lucky, you have now 2 horses. He's like, I don't know if it is good or bad, it's just like I have 2 horses now. And then his son climbs on the new horse and is kind of going around, and because it's a new horse, he doesn't know how to control it and falls down, breaks his leg. Everyone comes again to him and says, just the worst thing that has happened, your son is now fractured and so on. He said, I don't know if it is good or bad, he's injured, that's all I know. And then the war breaks out, and they get all the healthy youngsters to go for war, while this guy's son's leg is broken, so he doesn't have to go to the war. And then everyone comes to him and says, you are so lucky, your son is now with you still. And this keeps on going on, and this guy is like, he's just there, and you don't know whether what is happening to you is good or bad. It's just your perception of the situation. So that's maybe that story made a big impact on me.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, and thank you for the interview and your time. Let's see what will happen.
Thank you.
Thank you.